Hello, everybody. This is Cheryl, and this is my Cyber Training with Epiphany channel. I've been trying to get on here all day. Now here it is, 9 o'clock at night. I'm finally getting on here. So it's only going to be for a few minutes, all right? Because I've been having some conversations with people, and someone asked me about the performance-based questions for the Security Plus and the CISA. I did videos on those, but I did not go into detail about the performance-based questions. Okay, I just did just painted a broad brush about how to study for the test. Okay, so now I'm going to give some specific things about how I was able to navigate those performance-based questions, or simulations. Some people call them simulations. Okay, so now, my first experience with it, now I knew they were on the test. I took Dion's training, and Dion does a really good job of, talking about what the simulations are and the things you need to look for. But after taking the CISA the first time and failing it, I saw that that was not that helpful. Okay, it was a good explanation and stuff, but at least for me, it wasn't as helpful as it may have been for somebody else. So I had to find another way to be able to pass that portion. Now, when I first saw it, okay, Dion recommended that you don't do the performance-based questions first, and those are the first things on the exam, okay, when you go to take it. I was like, why not? I'll just do the damn thing and have it be done with. I looked at them questions. I was like, what in the hell? I didn't even know what to do. Okay. The first simulation on the CISA, I'm just staring at it like, I didn't know where to look. Okay. Because there was just so much stuff there. I read the question, but I was like, what the hell do I do? Like, what's the first thing that I do? Anyway, so after the test, after having some experience with what they look like, what they were asking for, I was able to study better for it. So let me show you the things that I used to study for the simulations specifically. Okay, let me share my screen here. I'm gonna show you a couple things, a few things, and then I'm gonna let you know 3 specific things that I did to really help me out with these PBQs, performance-based questions. Okay. Which one do I want to share first? Okay, let's just do this one. Now, the first thing that I used that I talked about before, but I'm going to talk about again here because it's specific to these questions, are the practice labs. Okay, the practice-labs.com. I really prefer these to Cybrary. If I do that, yeah. Cybrary has CompTIA, CISA, and Security Plus labs as well, but I didn't like them. Okay, they were slightly more expensive too than the practice-labs. Practice-labs, I think, is like $50-something or something like that, and Cybrary was a little more expensive than that. But I like the practice labs because when you go in here, so these are actual things, labs you can do. So let me click on one. This is the Security Plus. Let's click on configuring IDS and honeypots. Let's do that. Okay. And then they have the exercises right here. Okay. Snort installation, test, snort, all that. So let me start it. So you see here, they have the various servers for you to turn on. And so it'll take you through all that. Now, the wonderful thing about this, right, that I really enjoy about this is the steps. You see how it says step 1, connect to Win 10, step 2, and it shows you what you should be seeing as you do these things, as you configure this IDS. Okay. I love that. I absolutely love that. I did not feel that the Cybrary labs held my hand like that, and I needed hand holding. Okay. I needed some hand holding. But I didn't think that the Cybrary ones did that. You might like the Cybrary, that might work for you, which is wonderful. That's fine. I didn't. I preferred the practice labs. Okay. Now these really helped me because the simulations will actually show you workstations and servers and things like that. Okay. So to actually get into the practice lab and do it okay, connect to the servers and actually do these certain things to configure various things. That was really helpful. Now, the thing you have to look for though, okay, or be careful of, let me say that. The thing you really need to be careful of in the practice labs, whichever one you use, Cyber or whatever, is because they took me through step by step, you find yourself just following the steps, okay, and not really grasping what you're doing and why you're doing it. Oh, okay. Now that's okay the first time you go through, okay, just to get the steps down, but do it again, and if possible, do it outside of the practice lab, like do it on your own virtual lab, okay. Do it that way, because that'll really show you how much you actually do understand, understand what that is versus just following steps. Okay, because that's easy. We can follow steps all day long, but okay, let me take the steps away. Now you do it on your own. Okay, now, and that'll really show you. So I really noticed that. Let me show you when I noticed that. When I went to test out, okay, test out is amazing. It is so good. So I signed on to this. I believe you get 5 days for free. You get access to everything for free for 5 days. The last time I did this, you can see here it says expired since March 13th. So all my stuff is expired. But when I got it, when I went into test out and I looked at the labs, that was really like, okay, just do it. Okay, there were no step 1, step 2, none of that kinds of stuff. Okay, which made me go back to practice labs and say, okay, I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing here and not just follow the steps and say, okay, I did that. All right. So test out is really good too. If you're not on test out, go ahead and sign up for those 5 free days or however long it is. It's something like that. And that I promise you, that'll really, really help you when it comes to these performance-based questions. Okay. So 3 things that I want to point out here that helped me answer these questions are, and I'm going to go over simulation too. Well, let's just do it right now. CompTIA on their website, they have an example simulation. All right. And I'll use this to point out the 3 things. So let me make this a little bigger so y'all can see that better. I hope you can see that better. Okay. So the first thing is to look for what role are they speaking to? Okay. So we know that we have a lot of roles in cybersecurity, a lot. Okay. What role are they speaking to in the question? Is it the system admin? Is it a forensic analyst? This one says cybersecurity analyst? Okay, so pay attention to that. Pay attention to the roles. And when you're studying, okay, go ahead and go to YouTube and type in a day in the life of a forensic analyst or a day in the life of a system admin. Okay, go ahead and do that, because when they create these questions, okay, these are certification questions, and there's a certain way that you create certification exams. There's a certain process that people use. Okay, now I was a part of a group that worked with ANSI to do certain things, okay? And ANSI does a lot with certification and accreditation, all right? So in those meetings, I was really able to see how that certification process worked. And one of the common things that you will see, no matter who's doing the certification, you will see that they start with some kind of a job task analysis, okay? They will go to the people who are actually doing the work to say, what are you doing? All right. So if you see the role, what role they're talking about in the question, go to YouTube and type in a day in the life. Especially if you don't know. Okay, that I didn't know what a cybersecurity analyst actually does, what a SOC analyst actually does, what a forensic analyst actually does. And if you know people in these roles, go ahead and talk to them. Okay, what is it that you do? Because what you want to do, the second time I went to take the CISA and I looked at the simulation, I was much more comfortable. I was, then within the first time, like the first time, it was like a deer in headlights. Like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Okay. The second time, it was not like that at all. I was really much more comfortable with it. And, I don't know exactly, what I got right or wrong, but apparently I got enough right, that I passed it. Okay. So that's the first thing. Look at the role. Then look at the context. Okay. What context are they in? Are you in a server room? Are they in the office? And in a lot of these simulations, it'll tell you. See, on this one right here, it says the executive office and floor 1 is the telco closet. Okay. That kind of stuff is important too. The physical context, as well as your relationship, or the person in the scenario's relationship to what's going on. Okay. In this scenario, it says, after experiencing attacks on its servers, Company A hired a cybersecurity analyst to configure a DMZ and increase security measures. Okay, so we see here what happened before. That's part of the context. Okay, it'll tell you, this thing happened and this happened, so now we want you to do this. Pay very careful attention to what's happening before they get into what they want you to do, because that is going to, of course, have some impact on what you do and why you're doing it. Okay. Don't read these too fast. Like I said about the CISA, you got like 4 hours to take that exam. Okay. Make sure you're getting all that information, okay, in there, and paying attention to everything. All right. And the last thing is the actual directions. Okay. Now, they very explicitly tell you in these simulations what they want you to do. All right. That seems like a no-brainer, but many of us, we kind of skip that. Okay, you have to read these things really, really carefully. All right, so let's do this one. After experiencing attacks on its servers, Company A hired a cybersecurity analyst, that's the role, to configure a DMZ and increase security measures. Okay, after experiencing attacks. All right, shortly after the network was reconfigured, an assistant on the second floor reported that one of the executives could not access the internet, more specifically CompTIA.org. However, he said they can send internal email, use the internet, and print on the local area network. Okay, now these are your instructions. You need to pay very, very careful attention to these on the exam. Okay, check the IP addresses. That's very clear. Okay, and the connectivity for each of the workstations. You see there's 2 workstations here. And on the exam, the things that light up are the things that are clickable. So you see the router and the workstations light up. All this other stuff is not clickable. You can click on it and nothing's going to happen. Okay. So these are the things that are going to be involved in you answering this question. Okay. Determine which is the affected machine. Okay. Use that information to ensure that the access control list is properly configured to allow all workstations access to the internet. Now, again, this is on CompTIA's website. They let you know that this is not an actual question on the test, okay? But this is a really good way just to practice. Like, look at the question, look at what it's asking you, and when you look at another sample question, on whatever materials you're using to study, compare it to this, okay? And look at the way that you answer this. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, because you can go to CompTIA and do it yourself. But here you just do an IP config, okay? And then you ping a, we're going to ping CompTIA.org, okay? And see what we come back with. All right, packets sent, packets received, 4, none lost. Okay, and you would do the same thing for this one, okay? And after you do that one, you're going to go here to your router, okay, and your access control list, and you're going to click the one that's causing the issue, okay? And click the one that's causing the issue. All right, so go ahead to CompTIA and do that. And as you're doing that, and as you're looking at your other questions, I want you to pay attention to what role are they talking about. If you're not familiar with that role, go YouTube, day in the life of a, whatever the role is. Also look at the context, the physical, what is happening in the scenario, and be careful to read the directions really, really well. Now, I'm telling you, some of this stuff is not very complicated. Some of this stuff is only a matter of counting. Okay, some of the questions, how many say deny, how many say accept. Like that's simple, but you won't know that if you don't read the question correctly. You're going to think it's complicated and you got to type in all this stuff and you got to ping and netcat and all this other kind. That is totally not necessary. Okay. You can save yourself a whole lot of trouble, a whole lot of time just by reading carefully. Okay. So the whole goal here is to, when you see these, to just be comfortable with it. Okay, to be comfortable with it, because they're really not difficult, even though they're performance-based and simulations and all that. In my opinion, that once I understood what they were and what they were asking for, they're really no more difficult than the actual questions, you know, than the multiple choice questions on the exam. They're really not. Okay, so role, context, and directions. Okay, so go ahead and do that with the labs. Test out free for 5 days. Practice labs is my preference, but Cybrary also has labs on there. And I know there's a whole bunch of, this is not even the tip of the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg is what I'm talking about. I know there's a lot of stuff out there. You already have things already, I'm sure, that you're using to study, but as you study, just give more attention to those 3 things, okay, that I said, and you'll be fine, all right? As long as when you see these things, you really just feel comfortable, you know, you feel like, all right, I've seen this before, I can do, and even if you haven't seen it before, you can still feel comfortable because you can recognize, okay, what role are they talking about? What context is it in? What are the explicit directions that they're asking me, that they want me to do? Okay. All right. So I said this was going to be quick. It's about 17 minutes. So I hope this is helpful. I really do. Like I said, the Udemy stuff is fine or whatever, but you really need a broader brush, because you don't know specifically what's going to be on there. Okay, you just don't know until you get there in front of the test. All right, so you want to be broad enough so that whatever they put in front of you, you know, you'll be okay with it. Okay, because you got the technical stuff that you've been studying, right? You've already got that, and now you've got these other more these softer type things that you can look for when it comes to these questions. Okay. All right, that's all I have. So y'all stay healthy, you know, keep your distance and all that stuff. And I will see you back here next time. Okay, bye.